Hello, and welcome. Hey guys, it's me, it's Andy Decade, Andy here. We're in pre-Moonbase 2-in. We're with Big D today. Hey, Big D.
Hey, dude.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's been good. I have a glass of my non-alcoholic mojito. So,
Sorry, I sneezed. I didn't hear what you were drinking.
non-alcoholic mojito.
I don't know what a mojito is.
It's basically like it's a very limey cocktail.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I don't drink alcohol at all anymore. But I found they do a really nice mocktail version in like Tesco's and places.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit pricey, but it's quite tasty now and then. So
You're on the synthahol diet.
pretty much. I have so many drugs in my system, I really can't risk. I never really drank a great deal anyway after university, just because I drive everywhere by nature. And all the places I could really go to for a night out, I'd have to either drive to or get a taxi from for ruinous expense.
Oh, yeah.
So I just came to the conclusion I won't drink anymore, which means I have bottles of booze all over the place. But
Hang on, you've still got bottles of booze?
Oh yeah, I have 2 bottles of Jack Daniels I've had now for over 20 years.
Shouldn't you get rid
They're not
of
even
it?
opened. Well, no, I'm keeping it for a time where I might really need a drink.
What?
Dude, I've got a 2-liter bottle of Southern Comfort in a cupboard somewhere. I've had that for 15 years.
You don't drink. What the heck? That's insane.
Yeah.
Let's just keep keeping it safe. What are you waiting for? Like the time where you're gonna go petrol bombing or something?
Well, you never know.
I know where you live, so I guess it's good to have something as a weapon nearby you, just in case.
Mate, I realised that with all the riveting I've been doing in the last few months, what I've been doing with when the gun fills up with the used pins.
Yeah.
I've been dumping them into these round plastic tubs that some of these food delivery companies do for refillable cereals.
All right.
And it occurred to me last week that, oh wait, I spent the last 6 months every day or two basically making a grape shot canister.
I don't know what that is.
Grape shot is what they used to put into cannons to deal with infantry at close range.
Oh,
so rather than a cannonball, you'd put in. So you'd basically shove whatever you could into the cannon and fire it. And grape shot was specifically a canister filled with. All right, it's basically a shotgun shell the size of the size of your head.
So the rivets that you put into these boxes are junk, right?
Yeah, they're just the ends of the rivets once I've used the gun to fit the rivet to a thing.
Why do you still have them then?
Well, we recycle them, so we haven't a chance to recycle them.
You still got them?
Well, I've got about probably 4 or 5 tubs still downstairs.
Oh my god. You need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I don't have anything explosive on hand, so
well, no, it's just like it's just more stuff in your place that you don't need. You know?
It's just disposing it. So we do a recycle run every so often, so it's just waiting to do that.
My god, what a faff. Well, I see Axel Hedge in chat. Hello, Axel Hedge. We're about to start the show now, so let's get the music rolling and let's talk about some Transformers. Music time, everybody.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy Decade Andy, and we're here with the man who rivets all the days away. It's Big D. Hey, Big D.
Howdy, man. How you doing?
I'm full of goo, it seems. I'm trying my best not to sniff during the podcast. If I randomly stop talking and mute myself, it's because I'm like snorting my own goo back inside of myself. as you do.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I'm a little bit croaky at the moment, as you can tell. So
not quite sure where it's come from. I'm going to blame it on randomly just waking up after a couple of hours of sleep each night. Seems to be the way I'm
that'll
going.
do it. Yeah.
Not sure why I'm doing it, but it's. I guess I'm in that mood, which I hate. I hate getting in that sleep cycle of just, it's time to wake up now. It's like, but I'm sleepy still. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? We're talking about Transformers news this week. We've got not a lot to talk about, at least nothing desperately exciting. Most of the stuff comes from Wonderfest, and then we have some weird crossover stuff, as you would expect from Transformers.
It's so weird.
I'll ask you this now, Big D, because it might not be Transformers related, and it won't be for me. But did you get anything Transformers related from the Prime Day sale on Amazon?
I didn't, because I didn't have any money available, annoyingly. But I did switch some pre-orders around, because HLJ have put up Studio Series Optimus Prime.
Oh, very good.
Command class.
I imagine it's not in stock now. I imagine it's been sold out.
No, it's going to be in the new in the new year, but it's like...
sorry, I mean the pre-orders are sold out. Because usually the pre-orders sell out pretty quick. Right? Usually. Yes, Andy, they do sell out usually pretty quick. Yes, I thought they did. That's how I always remember HLJ's pre-orders going. Most of the time they sell out pretty quickly. Especially if it's on a Gundam kit.
Yeah, Oh. No, Studio Series Optimus Prime is still available. March release. 78 quid.
Oh, okay. I might have to sort something out, I suppose. I'll be faster than Amiami, because Amiami takes 3 months to come in to me, so maybe HLJ will be a little bit faster. The reason I did Amiami was because they were very slow. Very, very slow. It was because HLJ didn't have it in stock. They'd sold out the pre-orders. That's why I had to go with someone else.
That's fair. And I mean, they got Dino King for 60 quid, which is a lot nicer.
How's that a lot nicer?
Well, you're only paying a tenner for each part.
How much was the Western version?
About 80.
Oh. No. Even at 60, I don't think I'd buy it, but at least it's a better price, I suppose, at the very least.
Yeah. The Legacy Stunticon gift set for 150.
No, that's worthless. No. Those repaints are poo. They were poo repaints. Very lackluster.
Yeah, it's just such a weird one, man.
I looked at HLJ a couple of weeks ago to see if they had any of the Armored Core sets, and it's like, oh no, they're completely out of stock. And I went, oh well, never mind.
Yeah, they have proven quite popular, those Armored Core kits.
Well, it's Bandai. It's like anything Bandai just kind of flies off the shelves from HLJ.
Yeah, I'm actually a little annoyed with HLJ because the last few Gunpla kits I had on pre-order.
Oh, have they cancelled them?
No, they haven't cancelled them.
Pushed them back?
The release date's come and gone, and they're now saying awaiting stock. And I know for a fact that I pre-ordered them the day they went up for pre-order, as soon as I got up in the morning.
I guess you could say that doesn't mean you got in fast enough.
I know, that's the annoying bit, because if it's not on order stop, they should order enough to cover everyone who's ordered one, you know?
I guess the problem is they might only be able to order a certain amount.
Which I get, but in that case, they should have the courtesy to let you know. Because until I checked, I wouldn't have known that.
No.
And as it stands, there's like 5 kits from the last 8 months.
I mean, in all fairness, Bandai should definitely be like opening a new factory to make more Gundam stuff. Yeah. But they haven't for some reason.
It's not. Yeah. I mean, Bandai have had issues with supply and demand for all their plastic kits, but especially Gundam since COVID.
Yeah, well, even before COVID, they had issues. So.
Yeah.
I think they should just make a new factory, put it somewhere where the economy is not doing desperately well. It would force people to move there. Hopefully, revitalize some of the emptying towns. It might help them. I don't know. Or put one in another, maybe not in Japan, maybe somewhere else. That could help.
I was going to say, you said put it somewhere where it could boost the economy. What? England.
Well, I mean, that'd be nice. That'd be all right.
Just.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against that. Yeah. But we're going to be talking about Transformers this week. We're going to start off with the New Age NASO1EX Romulus, which they've got in brackets here on TFW as the Chug Scale Megatron inspired version. Now we talked about what was it? The SO1, which was the previous Megatron, which was just standard cartoon Megatron. This special EX version is what if the toy version. So do you want a leader-sized, or sorry, commander-class sized version of the toy to go along with your figures that also happens to be a New Age figure? Well, this might be the figure for you. This will definitely not stand well in your Chug line, as it's, deliberately made to look like the old toy. But Big D, what do you think about this? He comes before we get on to that. He comes with a different faceplate, so you can make his head look more like G1 Megatron, but not completely the same. He's got a mace. He's got his classic sword, and that's all of his accessories because his hands are posable anyway, so he doesn't need extra hands.
I like how it looks. I do like that they've tried to replicate the specific tones of the toy, so kind of those off blacks, almost brownish greys instead of pure black for some of it, and those nice metallics. I mean, I think I've got the other version on pre-order.
Oh, the standard Romulus.
Yeah, just because I quite fancy having a Chug Megatron. I'm not bothered by the fact the official one won't be a gun ever again. But I just like how this figure actually looks. I think it would look quite nice in my collection. So, but I mean, if you want a toy version of Megatron, this might be the best version you can get hold of. If it is as good in hand as it looks in pictures.
I think this is going to be a much more. I mean, it has to be a more limited release, just on the basis that the audience is going to be lesser. Because if you're buying this to go in your Chug line, you're going to want one that looks like it goes along with the Studio Series Optimus Prime. This will not do that. I don't think this will fit in with most of the shelves, and it's going to just stand out as a bit of an oddity on the shelf. It looks fine. It does look like the upscaled version of the standard Megatron, which it is, just in the toy colors. Which again, that's what it is. I think this line, this whole like the New Age NA series, whatever they want to call this series, is a weird one still. But we've only had Megatron so far. This is 01, so we don't know who the next one will be, but I guess it'll be another one from the Studio Series who hasn't had a toy yet. So maybe they'll do Galvatron. I could see them doing that since that hasn't been announced yet.
I mean, it's an interesting tack. It's kind of getting back to what the third-party market was to start with, but doing stuff to fill in the gaps of, and it was predominantly gaps in the Chug line.
Yeah.
A lot of it originally, and it kind of skewed more to Masterpiece and Legend scales over the years. And now New Age I mean, honestly, a lot of their stuff is so fine. I mean, I think I've got their Soundwave that someone gave me. I won't lie, I'm a little bit scared to handle it sometimes because of how small it is and how intricate it is.
Yeah, one could easily argue that the New Age stuff are more complex than you'd maybe want them to be, unless you like the complexity of Masterpiece scale, just kind of shrunk down.
But to have that upscaled into a more Chug appropriate scale, so in this case Commander, but even if it was like a Deluxe or Voyager scale,
Voyager scale is Commander scale, I suppose you could argue.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's nice to see them taking that engineering and putting it in, because I know there's people who've wanted some of these figures and would have probably bought them if they were in a larger scale, but the Legend scale kind of put them off. So it's kind of nice to see them tapping into that market. I agree with you that it possibly could be more limited, especially for this particular deco.
Yes, this one especially. The other one won't be. I think the other one's going to... The other one's going to have people's attention until the official one comes out, and then it's going to be the whole Andy, I don't want to play with you anymore, drops Woody down. That's
but typical New Age, they're covering all the bases.
Okay, well, here's a question, Big D. For the next two, so 02 and 03, who would you like New Age to do to fill out the Studio Series line? Or G1 line? Because they'll need to be characters they've already done as well, technically.
Yeah. That's a really good question.
I think Galvatron, I mentioned Galvatron. I think that'd be a good one. Galvatron isn't amazing. Yes, they have. I've got the Marvel comic version on my table right now. So they could do that. It's not an amazing figure, but it transforms reasonably well.
Okay. And let me just have a look at the Age's page a second.
I can't remember if they've done I don't think they've done Rodimus. Pretty sure they haven't. I will also check.
I mean, a Seeker is a safe bet. Starscream, and they can crank out the rest of the Seekers.
We already have a Seeker. We already have the Seekers in the line, in the Studio Series line. Now, they're not good, but they are in the line already.
That's true, but that's also probably why they might do well, because they would potentially be a better version of the Seeker.
I mean, by that logic, we could easily pick Soundwave and Cyclonus as well by doing that.
Yeah. Shockingly, there's not a massive amount. I mean, there's a couple of mini bots that haven't been done yet, but that's kind of a bit. We know that they're coming.
Yeah. So the problem with the New Age line is they've covered most of the characters who you would expect them to cover.
Yeah.
Oh, technically, they could do Devastator. You know, because Devastator hasn't been released yet for a Studio Series. We keep hearing the rumors, but we haven't seen it yet. You said what about, and then you didn't see anything. What about what?
Rated.
What? You broke up.
Their version of RC.
Oh yeah. Again, it's not really filling. It's more replacing again because Studio Series has the shitty RC figure. We don't have a Studio Series Shockwave.
That's true.
So we could get the Shockwave as well.
Yeah.
There is obviously the fill-in Shockwave, which we have from Siege, but there isn't like an official Studio Series Shockwave, so we could throw that in. They did the Insecticons as well, so technically they could do Studio Series Insecticons if they wanted to.
Yeah, Insecticons, they've got Reflector, who's a much more cartoon accurate than the Siege version, so that would fly as well.
Oddly enough, that's about it. Most of the other ones have been done in Studio Series, at least.
I mean, they've got the Datsuns that could be done in a Studio Series tie-ins. That might work.
Kinda, but we've already got Prowl, like Dead Prowl. So, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Dead Prowl exists.
It's generally an interesting one. I don't think there's a good answer to what they'll do next, but I'm intrigued to see what they do.
I would imagine it'll just be another upscaled figure, I would presume, from their previous line. From the previous stuff they've done.
Yeah, that'll be my guess, but we don't know which one it'll be, so it'll be a nice surprise to see who it is.
Yeah, I mean, the lame answer would be Optimus Prime. That would probably be the most boring thing to do, just Optimus Prime. And you'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think they do Prime just on the basis that the Commander one is literally around the corner, so it wouldn't be a good business idea to try and compete with it.
No. Dinobots, they'd have to go too big to make it economical for most people.
Yeah, if they wanted to do the size classes, that would have to be masterpiece scaled, technically.
I mean, I won't lie. I'd love to see them do a Studio Series scaled version of their Omega Supreme, but that would be a very expensive.
Oh yeah,
that'd be more expensive for Titans.
Yeah, that'd be too much.
You'd be better off just forking out for the Siege version.
Yeah.
Instead.
I think, haven't there been rumors that they wanted to redo some of the Titan class figures, maybe redo Omega?
Yeah, I mean, there's rumors that there's going to be a couple of the older Titans getting reprints potentially in the next year or two. I know Scorponok's been mentioned as getting a redo.
Oh, that's just a re-release.
A reprint as opposed to a redo.
Yeah.
But I mean, Omega Supreme I could see because we haven't really had a version that really fits his. The Siege version, I like how the Siege one looks, and I'd love to have it in my collection, but it's not really G1 Omega Supreme, which is very much what they're going for at the moment, Hasbro. No. So I could probably see him being the one that does get the treatment. Maybe the Predacons get another tack at things.
Maybe.
Or they get done like the Dinobots in Studio Series instead.
Yeah.
Which I would love to see. But no, we will see on that one. It's interesting.
Exel Hedge says the return of Netflix Bumblebee. I hope not. Marvel Colors when? Yeah. Give me the black bucket head.
I mean, this one's kind of like got a gunmetal bucket head, but yeah, a Comic Colors version would be kind of nice.
Again, we don't know how crazy New Age are going to go with their repaints in this line. They could go as hard as they do with their Legends line, or they might not because it's a bigger scale, so it might cost too much for them to do multiple repaints. I don't know. I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
Exel Hedge also says, I forgot the Earthrise Seekers are technically Studio Series 86. Yeah, unfortunately. Exel Hedge also finishes off with New Age Studio Series 86 Unicron. I don't think they've done Unicron.
No.
I won't be against it, because actually, like, if you want a Studio Series Unicron, get the third party, whoever did that third party Unicron. I can't remember. And they always photoed it with the wrong head to make sure they weren't going to get hit legally. Because it was better than... I saw like a week or so ago, someone said, I finally got my Grail, which was the HasLab. And I just thought, well... I'm you can be happy, but you made a bad choice.
Yeah. But no, that third party Unicron, I think the same guys have done a Cybertron Primus figure, which looks... stunning.
It has. I don't think it's or
it's coming out. No, that's right. It's not out yet.
Yeah,
but it's on its way, and it looks great.
Well, it's better than the last Primus figure we got, which was Cybertron. So that was God. That was a long time ago. At this point,
it was. Mine's in the loft with Armada Unicron, both in their boxes.
Damn. Well, let's move on to Unique Toys. They're doing the R10 Leader of Justice. This is obviously a Masterpiece scale figure. It is a 2007 and Dark of the Moon, apparently, whatever. 30 centimeter tall version of the Michael Bay transforming Optimus Prime figure. Unique Toys are, as usual, known for they're probably known as the best movie third-party company, I suppose, is kind of how I know of them. And we got a few glamour shots. He can do the Iron Man hero pose. He's got posable fingers and the hands and knees and head. Transforms into his long-nosed truck. This is the grey prototype, so he's unpainted and uncolored, but he looks really solid. Again, if you want a really good version of the first look of Optimus Prime from the movies, apparently from the third one, I suppose, this looks really good, and he's super posable. He also seems to come with the Matrix of Leadership from Revenge of the Fallen, the stupid shape thing.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call that. He'll come with that.
He seems to have alternate abs and knuckle dusters and some weird blade things.
Yeah, I don't remember the blade things.
No.
I'm sure they're in the movie. I just don't remember which one or when. But they're there. It doesn't show him with his gun arm, but I wouldn't count it out as him not having it either, because, that's kind of iconic. What do you think of this, Big D? What do you think of the Unique Toys Optimus Primo?
I mean, looking at it, it's a nice chunky piece. It's not as... They've made the obvious compromises for physical engineering that the movie designs don't have to pay attention to. But
what parts are they, would you say?
Well, I think the fact that, like, the legs especially are a lot thicker, especially around the thighs, than the animation model for live action Prime tends to be. But I do like it. It's got a nice heft to it from appearances. Nice and posable, which is not a given for a figure of this complexity. Super clean vehicle mode as well. I mean, if you had told me that these were two separate pieces, that it was a non-transforming prime and a non-transforming tractor cab, I would probably have said, yeah, okay, that's fair. But no, it does look pretty good. I'm not always the biggest fan of the movie prime design, but this might be one of the nicest takes on it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it fully painted up.
Yeah, I guess in I don't know 5 months or 6 months or more, we'll see that done. I do like the fact that the truck mode, the doors on the side of the truck do seem to open. There are these weird like sticks on the front of the truck mode. I don't know what they are. Do you see the parts I'm talking about on the near the front wheels? Got these two big sticks pointing up in the air.
Oh yeah, you do actually get those on some American trucks, especially the long nose ones.
Yeah, I thought they were probably real, and I thought they were a reason. My issue with them is, unless they're part of the transformation, they look like stuff that could break. Well, even if they are part of the transformation, they look like very snappable bits of material.
It looks like they fold around the front of the bumper, so I think they must.
They'll do something. Kind of, you know?
Yeah.
It's just they look very, again, very breakable.
Definitely, yeah.
It's nice that these the stacks are hard plastic, and like at least the first movie Optimus Prime, the 07 one, those were big old rubber, which was always kind of funny and shorter as well, if I remember.
You know what the truck mode gives me real vibes of, though? And it's something that none of the previous versions of Movie Prime have really done for me, even though it is exactly the right truck to do it. Do you remember the Rhino from Mask?
I do.
Yeah. This gives me vibes of that more than any other Movie Prime that we've seen.
Do you think that's because most of the time we see them painted, and because this one's just a long-nosed truck, your mind can adapt and kind of paint it yourself kind of idea?
I wouldn't say that's not a factor, but I think there's just something about, I mean, the smokestacks, for one, look a lot heftier than previous versions. That rear compartment is normally a little smaller on most of the other versions we've seen. This looks much more in proportion to how it should look.
Yeah.
So
it's an interesting idea. It won't be repainted into the Rhino, but I'd like to see someone have a crack at it. I don't think Unique Toys do repaints. I think they usually do the one release and then they're done. They're not New Age.
Yeah.
New Age is the big old whore company when it's just reuse that mold again and again, while most of them just are like, you do it once and then you move on to your next one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this looks like it could be, if you're after like a definitive Prime Fuel collection for the movieverse, this could fill the bracket quite nicely.
I think generally, if you're into the quote-unquote definitive version of movie characters, you should be on Unique Toys. You should be buying their products. Again, I don't hear bad things from them. The only reason I would hear that people might not want them is because they don't like third-party companies, which some people don't.
Which is reasonable, yeah.
It might be overly complex because I to make this transform, it's probably not a simple process.
No, he's going to turn inside out.
He's going to be expensive because it's third-party. So those are the main reasons. I would imagine someone would say no if you just want the best version of a figure to look. I think this might be the way to go. I suppose. Well, we'll talk about it in the future when a color prototype comes out, though. I'm sure.
Definitely, yeah.
So, Wonderfest Shanghai 2014 happened. We got lots of things that pooped up. We're going to take it in chunks because that's how the news stories took them too. First set of stuff we had blockies. A lot of that stuff. So there's the Action Edition Megatron, which we saw a colored version of, which we're going to be talking about a little bit later. It's the Action Edition are the bigger versions of the blockies. A bit more complex in terms of how they build. It's more like a high grade build versus a master grade build. I saw like the runners for these ones, and I was just like, oh, it's a high grade. It's not that crazy. I always think it's funny when someone who's never built a model kit saying, wow, these are actually really hard to build. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's like Lego. It's as involved as Lego. I always find it weird when people say Lego's hard to build. And what are you talking about? You just follow the instructions. It isn't even the 90s instructions that you're following where they were really not very accurate. It's 2024 where they're very precise.
Yeah, they can come back to me and they've had to try and glue the little teeny tiny shoulder pads of Solar Auxilia into place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so some of GW's models are.
Yeah,
they're not difficult to understand how to put together. They're just difficult to put together sometimes.
Yeah, bless them.
Yeah, Necrons from the previous edition were a pain in the ass to plop together as well.
I have to say though, nothing will match the sheer insanity of the Robotech RPG Tactics miniatures.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Metal Thunderhawk.
Well, that's a different sort of insanity. But those RRPGT miniatures, they literally just took the runners of larger scaled Macross model kits and downsized them.
Oh, no.
As in some of the parts have these really small pieces that should have been they should have been a single piece.
Yeah.
And you have to, put it this way, if you're building a mech that has more parts than the average Space Marine, and it's supposed to be like a 6mm scale versus 32mm, something's gone wrong there.
It sounds like someone didn't think about how anyone would build them. They just thought, well, we'll just make it smaller. You just downscale everything and it's fine. It's like, no.
I mean, that was the least of that project's, how should we say?
Issues?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. But no, these look great.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the Megatron specifically later because, like I say, we've got the colored reveal. So there's also classic class Transformers 1 Starscream, Bumblebee, which is him being cocked, Sentinel Prime, Elita 1, and there's the Galaxy version Wheeljack and IDW Megatron as well. So there's Megatron. That's the Megatron. Next image. There's the Starscream. So the Starscream is obviously the blocky version from Transformers 1. The Elita is a colored version of... I think we've seen it. Yeah, because Elita's the big one.
Yeah, I think we've seen the Elita one before, yeah.
The Starscream, I guess, is in the same scale range as the Elita one, etc., etc. We've seen the cocked Bumblebee. Actually, have we seen the cocked version or the uncocked version?
I think we've seen the uncocked version.
Yeah, so this is the other one.
Yeah.
And then the Galaxy versions are small Wheeljack and small IDW Megatron. And then who's that one? That's Sentinel Prime.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the other... No, we've seen this because we knew that the bigger Sentinel Prime had both modes, didn't we? I'm sure we did.
I'm
sure we did.
I'm trying to remember. I know that because we'd seen the Studio Series toy that has both modes built into it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if we'd seen the blockies before.
I think we had. So what do you think of, say, like Starscream, Bimblebee, and the small Megatron and Wheeljack? Like, are you going to blockies up? Are you going to get blokied?
You know what? The more I keep seeing of these things, the more my resistance is breaking down.
I was almost in the same stage as you a couple of months ago. I was kind of interested, and then I saw like people shilling them, and I was like, no, that'll put me off. I saw people online shilling them, and I went, nah, never mind.
I mean, if you put out a video earlier today, just like building two at random from a case he got, and they do look quite nice. The fact that they don't come on runners, they just come in a bag and you put them together is just like, oh, that sounds so relaxing.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
You know what's weird? Bandai can do that with their kits as well. Do you remember a line that they made called LBX?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, they were the exact same thing where you could just push them off the runners. And they've never done it ever again. And I don't know why.
They do it with the entry grade stuff where you don't need tools to push off, but that can still be a bit of a...
most of the time, though, they don't do it. It's odd.
No. Yeah.
Especially when they can do it. And blockies can do it as well, clearly as well, because that's what these bigger kits are. You just push them off the runner as well.
Yeah. I am tempted. I need to probably do a search and just see how much one or two of them might cost me, and just maybe bite the bullet and go, yeah, let's do a test. Let's see what they're like.
I'm trying to remember if they let you buy single ones from Shozy. I think they make you buy a case, so you'd have to get the full range, and I think a case is like 30 to 50, because I can't remember exactly how much it was. And you get like the whole 8 or 10 figures, something like that. Check Shozy. They've got the stuff. Well, unless they're out of stock.
That's not too bad. They're only showing the Legendary Optimus Prime for some reason.
And Shozy.
I need to look into blocks. Yeah.
They had more when I looked at one point. Low-key.
Oh, that's because they're listed under blocks, not blockies.
Oh, yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah. What was I thinking?
Low-keys, blocks. Who fucking knows? Okay, so they're about 46 quid. First 6, generally speaking.
I mean, that's not too bad at the end of the day. Not really.
Fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's still not as bad as buying GW miniatures.
Well, thank Christ for that. Jesus. Holy shit. GW, the company that rails you most of the time for minis. Yeah, super overpriced for what you get for a GW thing. But
and
yeah,
you'll thank them for the privilege, thank you.
Oh, well, yeah, that's why you pay them as much as you do. So that's the Blokies selection. They also showed Kurakarakuri Flame Toy stuff. So there was mostly colored prototype versions, so things we've seen before, but colored versions of them. Apart from this one, which was the gray prototype for the Kurakarakiri Diatlas, and then the rest are colored prototypes of the model Beast Wars Megatron, G1 Megatron, Soundwave, Shockwave, Hound, then Kurakarakiri, Ultra Magnus, Starscream, and jet-powered armor, which is the Optimus Prime and Nemesis, if you remember those ones. I'm sure we'd seen the Diatlas before, so I guess this was people who got to see it in hand, so that was nice for them. I think we'd seen the Megatron colored before as well. Can't remember about the Ultra Magnus. We've seen the Starscream done before. Pretty sure we'd seen the Optimus Prime jet-powered armor before on both of them. I think we'd seen the Megatron before as well, and the Soundwave. I think most of these are just kind of going back over things that we've seen previously, even the colored versions of them, I think. But was there anything stand out for you here out of these things that you liked?
Just I love how dynamic they are. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of personality to each of these, which is nice. I dig that. Not perhaps my cup of tea, but
just as well because they're expensive. So,
well, yeah,
the Kurakarakuri stuff at least. I think the models are meant to be like reasonable. Not as reasonable as the blocky, obviously, but you know.
No, but for what you're buying, the prices, whilst they are on the higher end for flame toys in general.
Yeah.
I've not bought any myself, but having looked at what they do offer you, I wouldn't consider them out of the ordinary for what they're offering compared to other model makers.
Mikey generally seemed happy with the ones that he'd bought. And he had most of them.
Yeah, I mean, I keep meaning to, have a dabble sometime just to see what they're like. But I won't deny, the price does put me off a bit. But at some point, I would like to pick one up just to see what it's like in hand.
Yeah.
So
those are those things. And then we had, I've got 2 stories here. There's the YOLO Park AMK Proton, the AMK Mini G1 and Bayverse, and the AMK Pro Transformers 1, Revenge of the Fallen, and more. So a lot of AMK stuff, which I'll be honest, I don't remember who they are offhand, but a lot of these lines just kind of mush together. So they showed a new reveal for the great prototype of Tarn, it seems. It comes with a removable mask. AMK Pro line features die-cast parts and lights. And then there's the Mini G1 Ratchet and Ironhide, the IDW Orion Pax, and IDW Bumblebee. Apparently, these are new reveals as well. Great prototypes. The mini lines are 12 centimeters tall and expanding to other universes. Then there's, I guess those other universes are Dark of the Moon, Optimus Prime, and Megatron. They're the Bayverse ones, obviously. apparently look a little bit bigger and bulkier than the G1 kits, which makes sense just because of the design. Then there are the MK Pro, Transformers 1, Optimus Prime, and Megatron final forms, so the cocked versions of them. The Optimus Prime will have a removable chest, a piece with, and the Matrix, because it's an Optimus Prime, so of course it fucking does. And the Megatron will come with his regular arm cannon and his final form fusion cannon. And the AMK Pro line features diecast parts and lights, which we already mentioned. There's the Pro Rise of the Beast RC, great prototype, nothing else special. The Pro G1 Bumblebee, cartoon accurate figure, comes with a gun and a gun blast effect. He should scale with the other AMK Pro G1 figures. I guess not with the other AMK Pro figures in general, though. I guess. All right. And then there is the Pro Megatron. He's got his arm cannon. The Pro Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. The Pro Age of Extinction Drift. He comes with his swords. And the B movie Cybertronian B, who comes with an interchangeable face mask. So let's get them up on screen. So what do you think of these things then? Because again, I feel that they're mushing very closely with what Flame Toys are doing with their Kurakarakuri stuff.
Yeah, very much so.
Apart from the 12 centimeter line, which is obviously a lot smaller. But we have seen looking at these. We have seen some of these before. I'll just get your opinion on them.
I mean, how posed was for me? Because I mean, those minis don't look terribly posable. Almost like they just stand.
I think they have some hip joints in there that are hidden. I have a feeling they, I don't know. Is it harsh to say they articulate as much as like Legends, Marvel Legends figures did like 10 years ago from Hasbro, I should say.
Ouch.
Maybe. So not very well. I mean, when you look at them, do you get the vibe of like they're almost like 90s toys? Because they kind of look like that to me.
A bit, yeah. I mean, they do seem to be nailing kind of a bit of the accuracy to their source material. Although, why does Ironhide have the crosses on his shoulders and Ratchet doesn't?
Because Ironhide's the ambulance, idiot. Something tells me someone made a mistake and didn't put the right head on the right body. Might be a guess though. Good catch.
I do like Pax and B from IDW, even if B's a little on the stumpy side, but it's actually a take on B that we've not really seen get much play in. Hasbro did do that toy that they then repainted into Nightbeat of him with this design, but it was a bit lanky and a bit janky. Yeah. This looks much more like how he appeared in the comics.
Yeah.
And I dig that. It's got much more of that personality to it.
Well, that one, if I remember, was Camaro as well, wasn't it? Where this one is, it's that. At least that's what the quote-unquote the transformation would be, but it's more like a sports car from the looks of things, right? Or a Cybertronian sports car or something.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like they are working to try and make sure these do look accurate to their source material, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Megs is incredibly hench, which, well, that tracks.
Yeah.
The Pro figures look quite nice.
Do they look as good as the other figures that we've seen from, again, like Blockies and whatnot? Because I'm not sure they do. Like the Optimus Prime looks really thin, like it's anorexic.
Yeah,
especially if you said this was a Ryan Pax versus Optimus Prime, I'd be like, okay, but he's got the Optimus Prime.
Yeah, very
head.
much so. Yeah, because for things I quite liked watching. Have you seen TF1 yet?
No, I'm not going to be able to.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's fine.
Can I mention? Okay. I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say that Prime and Megatron go through several forms over the course of the film.
Yeah.
And this does feel much more like his two Orion Pax forms than his final Optimus Prime form. Especially because like you say, he's so thin around the waistline.
Yeah, he's actually got an hourglass shape. Like, if you gave his head like an Elita 1 body head, I'd be like, oh, it's a female Transformer. Very that sheeply
would
one.
Actually work. Yeah, ironically so.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't dislike it, but like I say, if it feels a little lanky. Megatron, I'm not sure if this is just because of how his design is quite leg-heavy anyway.
Yeah.
And it seems like folks have struggled to get that adapted right.
Is it as long in the movies? Is it as noticeable how long his legs are in the film?
It honestly didn't feel like it, but I think also you have to take into account you're not really seen. He's not often still in a full body shot for that long. Or there's sometimes in quite a few shots, even if he's standing upright in the middle of the scene, there might be a crowd around him, so you literally can't notice his legs.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure on that score. I mean, he does get bigger over the course of film, like Prime does. But it's weird. I mean, the legs are the only thing that stand out for me with Megs, to be fair.
It's strange because I don't think with a figure like this, the legs have to 100% adhere to being as long as they do. They obviously do for the Studio Series because they probably have to be as long. They have to be that long for the sake of the transformation.
Yeah.
Right? I imagine.
Yeah.
So maybe they could have just shortened the legs just a little bit to make them look more in proportion. I don't know.
I don't think that's an unfair thing to. I mean, maybe they would have had to have done stuff to the torso to make it proportions make more sense doing that. Yeah. But it's I don't know. It's an odd one. But I mean, I don't dislike anything that I see here. To be fair,
no, none of it looks quote unquote like bad.
But I do think you're on the right track where there's a lot of crossover with the Flame Toys stuff.
Yeah.
So. I mean, partly this is going to come down to price point and scale. Because if they're on the same scale and price point as Flame Toys, then it's like, ooh. But if they're, I mean, some of these I do think should be a lot cheaper than Flame Toys.
Well, there's certainly the ones that are on the Pro ones will have to be, right? Because then the non-Pro ones, whatever that line was called again, they're 12 centimeters tall, so they have to be cheaper. Now, how cheap? Yeah. Obviously, that's a different question.
Yeah. But no, again, it's another one where I really want to see how he's looked painted.
Yes.
Or their finished results. Because, I mean, that Mirage they've got next to what I think is a Deluxe Optimus Prime, that actually looked pretty decent as that version of Mirage. So,
yeah, it's okay. It's well painted at the very least, I suppose.
Yeah.
We don't know how posable these at least 12 centimeter figures are, but it's well painted, well sculpted, it seems.
Yeah. So
yeah, AMK. I don't know. I don't know if any of the AMK stuffs actually came out yet. Maybe it has. Obviously, I'm not interested in the line, so I haven't really kept up to date with it. But it'd be interesting to hear like how it compares to like the AMK Tarn. How does it compare to the Kurakarakuri Tarn?
Yeah,
I don't know
because that Tarn looks beefy.
Yeah, and the the Kurakarakuri one was massive as well. He was a huge boy. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Next up, we have what is classed as the roundup. So I'll read all the bimbly flimbles, and then we can go through each of them. So there's the Killer Body Transformers 1 Super Deformed figures. Small and fun in quotations, Chibi, Transformers 1, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Elita 1, and Bumblebee. What? Optimus Prime, new word, Bumblebee, new word, Elita 1, and Bumblebee.
Oh dear.
Am I having a stroke again? Maybe. I don't think I see an image of where this Bumblebee is. Oh, hang on, there's a hyperlink. Let's click on that. That'd be smart. Then I can figure out the name of the yeah, there's Megatron, you lying sack of shit. They put in Bumblebee twice and they meant Megatron. Lying sack of poo. All right, so it's the standard. I mean, that makes sense. It's the standard cast. Because I was confused because did they mean the uncogged Bumblebee and the cogged one? No, they just meant Megatron. So there's that. They have the light up eyes. Not much detail so far, I assume, on when they're released and whatnot. There's the Trumpeter The Last Night Smart Kits, which are small, 9.5 centimeter tall, easy to build, with dashes in there, because that's important. We have a look at the prototype of Optimus Prime and Megatron. They will come with interchangeable hands and heads. There's the Trumpeter Bumblebee Movie Smart Kit and Super Deformed figures, which you can probably assume what that is. It's a small scale, 9.5 centimeter tall, easy to build model kit. Shockwave, Grey prototype, and color samples of Dropkick, Starscream, Skywarp, and Thrust. We also have another look at the prototypes of their, in quotations, chibi-style model. Another set of chibi model kits, okay. Model kits of the 07 Optimus Prime, Bumblebee Movie, Bumblebee, RC, Blitzwing, and some of the color samples of G1 Optimus Prime, Soundwave, and Ravage, and Nemesis Prime. And one more set of Trumpeter stuff, which are the Rise of the Beast model kits. These kits are more complex and detailed than the previous smart kits. We have images of Optimus Prime and Grey prototypes of Optimus Primal, Mirage, and Bumblebee. Then there's the Unix Square Combot figures. Combot, not Cumbot. That's a different line. Elon Musk is probably working on the Cumbots. New stylized G1 figures with which, in quotations, transform. I'm always worried when I read that for a Transformers product. By rearranging parts and adding some extra pieces. Oh, so the parts formers. They're incredible high-end parts formers, I suppose. Optimus Prime, color prototype, and Starscream and Megatron Grey prototypes on display. There's the Way Studios Bumblebee Movie blind box figurines. These are small figurines, about 10 to 14 centimeters tall. Some reveals: Nemesis Prime, Optimus Prime redeco with a new weapon. That's what Nemesis Prime is. RC, new word, Megatron, a new Shattered Glass Megatron redeco, Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker. Way Studios continues with the Bumblebee Movie Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Bumblebee statues. There are color samples of the 45 centimeter tall statues. We also have a look at the Cybertronian Bumblebee Alt Mode statue. So those are statues. Unlike the figurines, they're different. Very important to separate them. Way Studios Bayverse statues. So these are bigger scale statues. Bigger than what? It doesn't say. They're just bigger. Trust me. They're huge, amazing, tremendous, fantastic. The biggest you've ever seen.
That Prime Trader armory looks pretty damn massive to me.
I haven't looked at them yet. Once I've finished reading these, I'll scroll down to the images. So for these, there are the great prototypes of Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime, Weapons Depot statue, which Big D just mentioned. Really big scale. This is in brackets, where Big D just said as well, actually. Full weapon ring. No Optimus Prime shown yet. So you're buying the ring, I suppose. Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime with guns. Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime versus Megatron. And Dark of the Moon Megatron with Sentinel Prime. Shooting an old crippled man. Well, it might not be that, but I hope it is. And then finally, there's the Pop Mart Fusion, I guess, G1 statues. These are 28 centimeter in height, featuring stylized designs, based on some nice decorative, colorful text panels. We have samples of Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Darcy. And there we go. That's all of that. So, I guess we'll start off with the hang on. We'll start off with the killer body stuff, because that makes sense, and the trumpeter stuff. So, Big D, what do you think of these things?
I mean, they're cute.
Yeah.
Mildly disturbing.
What makes them disturbing? What scares you?
I think it's how the light up eyes look, because it looks like they're looking at you judgingly.
I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They're like things from Puppet Master. If you know what Puppet Master is. How many Puppet Masters have you seen?
I think only one.
That's okay.
Might add those to the watch long list.
No. They somehow get progressively worse. So that's interesting. That's the Transformers 1.
They look fine.
The killer things, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. I mean, there's always a market for super deformed stuff, so it's nice if that's your thing. There's an option for you.
That's nice.
And they do look.
Yeah. They're better than Funko Pops. I can say that.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, the bar's fucking diabolically low there, but it's something.
And, the lighter pies are kind of nifty, even if they do weird me out.
So, I guess, the next ones are the smart kits, which I suppose are... if you click on the hyperlink, it doesn't say that's what these are, but I guess that's what these are, because it's the Last Night Megatron and Last Night Optimus Prime. Come with extra hands, swords, all that jazz. They look, in terms of what they are for articulation, reasonably basic, I suppose. But in terms of like their surface detail, they caked in a decent amount of surface detail, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I think they might have like a high-grade Gundam level of articulation.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah. Apart from I think their flaps, their like legging skirts will probably get in the way of a huge amount of articulation.
Yeah,
but I think you're probably right. It's going to be around there, I'm sure.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing by any stretch. I mean, no. Again, they're two versions of the characters. They look good,
reasonably so. Yeah.
Yeah, and if they're priced right, there'll be a market for them. So I'm kind of all for this. They do look. I'm almost tempted to try and keep an eye out for them myself, because I do kind of like Meg's look, especially from the Last Night.
Okay.
Because it's the fact that it was actually a new look for him after like 3 and a bit films of looking like a
mess.
Bunch of looking like
just a mess.
Looking like a bunch of knives that have gotten too hot and heavy with each other.
Yep.
He actually looked like a character. So
yeah,
but yeah, he's looked nice.
I think if these were priced like high grade kits, like £10 to £20, that would be really good. They won't be, but I think if they were priced around the high grade price, that could be reasonable for what these things are.
Yeah,
I think they'll be more like 30 to 50 again, I would guess.
I'd probably said 30, being optimistic, but
I was being optimistic with 30. I was being.
I would not be surprised if they were close to 50. Unfortunately.
Yeah, realistically, I was thinking 50 to like nihilistic 50. You know.
Yeah.
If I'm black-pilled, as the kids would say, it'd be like 90. Like if they're really trying to fuck you, it'd be like 90 for one of these, and you go, "Whoa!" I don't think it'd be that. I'd be horrified if it was. So that's those smart kits. Then there's the Bumblebee movie smart kits. If we've got some images of those. So the Shockwave, then there's the colored version of Shatter or Dropkick, I suppose. Only showed 2 of them here. At least for the smart kits. Unless they've got more here. Oh no, there's...
Well, we got a couple of trio Seekers.
Yeah, they showed off Acid Storm, I guess Skywarp and Starscream. So they're there. They look okay painted. They look quite nice painted.
I like how these look.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, if that's what you can expect, then that raises my estimation of how the Last Night kits would turn out quite a lot, to be honest.
And to be fair, these are arguably better designs as well. More coherent than, previous, the Last Night, I should say.
Yes. Yeah.
Then after that, it's the Rise of the Beast model kit. No, it's the Bumblebee movie super deformed things. That's right.
So which are fun.
Who's the one on the far left? That looks like a Pat Labor. It's not though. Is that one? That's a Seeker, isn't it? That's a Blitzwing.
I think. I think that's Blitzwing.
Yeah. Yeah,
certainly a seeker of some sort.
Yeah, Blitzwing, RC, Bumblebee, first movie Bumblebee, I think. Yeah, and then a version of Optimus Prime. I've mentioned 2 of these were before, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then we have colored versions of Nemesis Prime and Optimus Prime. They show off a Soundwave with a tiny baby little chibi Ravage as well. These are all model kits. And then they showed the Beast. The Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime model kit. Again, that looks pretty solid. How do you think these ones are looking? The rest of the Trumpeter stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that chibi Ravage is so adorable.
Very cute.
Yeah. Rise of Beast Prime and Rise of Beast ones look really nice.
Yeah,
I dig the chibi figures they're kind of the right amount of chibi for me. They're not the killer body ones are a bit too bobblehead.
There's a weird scale for cheapiness, isn't it? Because there's definitely a slider. Yeah. Like sometimes it's a bit much. Sometimes they don't go hard enough. Sometimes the head's way too big. Sometimes it's not big enough. Sometimes the facial features are way too big. Sometimes they're way too small. It's a balancing game. You need that sweet spot.
Yeah, and I know from my own experience, sometimes I've watched a show that has chibi across it that's quite consistent. I've had days where I've gone, oh, this is hilarious. And then other days where I've just gone, no. Sometimes it just depends how you're feeling, to be honest. But no, I do like these. It's a nice variety. I like how their takes on the movie designs look, and it does help that they're doing films where the designs are a bit more coherent.
Yeah.
But no, these do look good. I am looking at that Rise of Beast Prime. I can't deny that is kind of tempting. I mean, he's got a fully posable hand.
It's got an inner frame. That's pretty impressive in itself. That's more than most high grades have.
Yeah. Well, it's become a bit more common nowadays, but certainly what we'd consider a high grade of like the last decade or so.
Yeah, it was rare to have something with a proper inner frame. Very rare.
Yeah.
Unless it was real grade, they would have a built-in inner frame.
Yeah,
but most of the time
and the real grade skeletons have had issues over the years, but
they got better. Thankfully,
they got better, but they have moved away from that more and more over recent years.
Which was wise because they never got it right. They always turned into a floppy mess.
Which is why the Epion is a fucking fantastic kit, and I recommend everyone buys one because it looks awesome.
At one point, I was going to get the God Gundam, but again, I couldn't. HLG was their stock for anything Gundam related. I just gave up. That's the problem with Gundam. I just gave up with it because it was such a pain in the ass to get. I was like, no.
Have you been to any of the UK sites?
No.
I mean, they are. You do pay more from them because
that's probably why I didn't want to do it because I felt I was being scammed. I mean, I'm not, but it was that mental thing of like I'm paying more for it. Yeah. I remember Mikey told me about the Irish site that he used, and I looked at the prices, and then I was like, ugh. And then I looked to see if they had the things that I wanted in stock, and they never did anyway. I was like, oh, so I need to go fuck myself anyway. Oh well.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, I mean, there's maybe free. I mean, to be fair, Gundam's become a lot more accessible via non-specialist sites, so like Forbidden Planet and a lot of FLGSs with their websites sell Gundam kits now. But kind of the ones I've normally used, Gundam Mad, Japan Core, Gundam UK, they don't always have everything in stock, but they are quite good at letting you know what's available. And when they do get restocks, you can get notified, but they're normally pretty good at getting restocks. So, and it's like you say, you do feel a bit like you're getting a bit shafted because you are paying more than you would pay ordering from HLJ, but then they're importing themselves, they're paying for taxes, so it's It's a thing you just have to mentally reconfigure your brain for.
Or like in my case, I just go, I'll just not. Yeah.
I mean, the other alternative is to go on AliExpress.
Well, I'm not doing that either because that always feels like I'm playing a Russian roulette. Like I've got a gun to my head. Is it going to blow my brains out and I'm going to get something crap, or am I going to get a virus, or it could be anything from AliExpress.
I've had some generally good experiences so far.
I've had some okay ones. I had something where I paid for it.
But I understand your. Oh, that's no good.
No. So that wasn't fun. That was for a knockoff Lego set. I was just like, it's like no.
Oh.
Well, one of those things. Next up, here we were looking at the images for who are these? The Unix Square people. Which were their Cumbuts and one.
Have we not looked at these before?
The Megatron I recognize. I recognize the Megatron. I kind of recognize the Starscream. I don't recognize the Optimus Prime.
Looking at the picture, for one of Megatron off to one side, you've got the exploded Optimus Prime. Showing off how he parts forms. I'm sure we've looked at the prototypes for all of these before, but this is the first time we've seen Prime painted up.
Yes, from however many years ago, at least, they first revealed it.
And I mean, it's clearly, they say G1 inspired. That's IDW Optimus Prime.
It looks it. I mean, the problem is he's got his boob open, so it's like if his boobs were closed, we'd have a better idea. But
the antennas and the legs, to me. And a bit of the six pack as well. That just screams IDW for me, which is no bad thing. I like that design for Prime. It's one of my preferred looks for him. It just is funny to me how they said it's G1 inspired. It's like,
I mean, technically they're not wrong.
Technically, no, but
they're not wrong, but they're wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how it. I mean. Starscream is possibly a little too Gundam.
He's very anime.
Look better. Yeah, I mean that would look great repainted into Slipstream colors. But for Starscream, that perhaps feels a little. I'm not going to say feminine, but a little too streamlined.
Starscream's got an hourglass figure in this as well. To be fair.
Yeah.
Again, which is why you said would work well with Slipstream.
I mean, Makes looks nice though. That's actually quite a nice mix of a couple of designs from looks. There's a bit of IDW. There's a bit of, I think, one of the alt universe GI Joe shows. Series. I think with the minigun.
Yeah, I can't remember where they're from, but it does look familiar.
Yeah, it's a little more varied in where the inspiration's coming from. So there's a bit more of a mashup, which I think I like. Probably. I really do want to see how this one looks painted, though. But I might like that more than Prime, although I do like that crisp white on Prime.
Yeah,
where Prime's on his legs. It's crisp. That's probably the best word I can use to describe it. It's crisp.
It'll be interesting to see how this Combot gimmick works. Like when it's done and they show you what it can be and what it can do with its interchangeability and unplugging and replugging of stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting gimmick they're going for.
Because I don't know how they get that to work with Starscream. Like I look at Prime and they show me how that works. I look at Megatron and my brain can equate how the two are kind of similar. Then I look at Starscream and I go, that I don't know how that one works. The same as the other ones.
Starscream, surely you just unplug the backpack and attach a nose cone to it. Because I can't see that working any other way.
No, not really. I don't know. Then there's the Way Studios stuff, which is just movie. These are the movie the figurines, which aren't statues. They're very different from statues. They're smaller statues. And then these ones are from blind boxes. That's right. And I like the little bases they come on.
Yeah, Nemesis I think needs to. The bases these do look like being a little bit of fun. Although Nemesis does perhaps need to take his blue pills because bless him. He's got a bit of a droop on.
His wonky axe. I wonder if that's because of the lights in that box heating it up.
That is quite. That'd be a shame if that's what's happened.
Yeah, I don't know because who knows? If they're LED lights, they shouldn't be heating the box up. But maybe.
But it is a very big axe head on a very slim axe shaft.
Yeah.
So.
Depending on the materials, I guess will really depend on how well that works. I tell you what would be kind of nice. If you could get all these really cheap and then throw away the Transformers on them, you could use the bases quite well for like Warhammer.
Hell yeah.
Like those bases would... I don't know if they'd scale pretty well as long as there's nothing like too small next to like an Imperial Guard Trooper. You could use these for like a hangar room or something like that, right?
Yeah, there are ways to make it work.
Yeah. Granted, the explosions are a little bit lame as they're
but that's only on the two versions of Prime, so that's not the end of the world.
What's that? The explosions.
Yeah, and you can repaint those easily enough if you want to.
I just think like in terms of explosions, to me they look like the spray on styrofoam stuff that you get for insulation.
Yeah,
you know how you see it expand as well. It looks like it's constantly expanding, even though it's not painted like that. It's either that or it looks like one of those beehives that you get buried in grass. Where they've just kind of set up the hive underneath a big tuft of grass.
Yes, it does look rather unfortunately like both of those, sadly.
Yeah, not an explosion.
You're
good at painting. You could make it look real, but no. Not here.
Interesting colour. Seems Shattered Glass Bumblebee, although it's really Shattered Glass Goldbug, I suppose. RC looks nice. The Shattered Glass Megatron is odd. Well, it's just some of his panels. They've not done anything more than that, which is weird.
Oh, I couldn't even tell that was Megatron. It's the one on the left, isn't it? Yeah. It's grey panels instead of silver panels.
And a bit of blue and red on his legs, on his lower legs, but nowhere near enough to be known.
Yeah.
It's okay. Odd.
Yeah, well, they tried, I suppose.
I think they tried.
I think if you're going to try and put the Shattered Glass colors on this body, you got to be a bit more liberal with the placements, I think. Because it just doesn't really work, I don't think.
Oh, hey, the Seekers are quite nice.
They're fine. They're all right. Yeah.
Price is going to be the most important thing, though, for these.
I would agree.
I mean, if they're blind boxes, they can't be that expensive.
I mean, you'd hope not. Hope not. And then we've got the statues, which Prime is standing on an explosion. Again, Prime needs to stop making explosions with his feet. He's also got a little hologram of Earth in his hand and looks a little bit sinister. I don't know.
A little bit, yeah.
Like this is the world we're going to conquer. The Megatron. To be fair, the fire effects here are better than the previous ones, so that's something. They actually have some shading to it. It looks like there's light emanating from the bottom. I was going to say,
have they got an LED in the bottom of there to get some of that effect?
Maybe. If I'm kind, I'd say no. They're really good at painting. If I'm cynical, I'd go it's probably just a light. I think it's probably just a light, to be honest, because it looks like Megatron's eyes are lit up there. I was lighted up, lit up. No.
His fusion cannon has a glow down the barrel as well.
Yeah, and Prime's sinister globe has lights oddly put on the bottom of it. So I'm thinking you're right. I think those are lights there in those figures. Then they showed a Bumblebee in car mode. I don't think. Why would you want a statue of car mode? That's not a normal car.
Yeah,
it's just there on a base with a couple of explosions around it. It's kind of lame.
Interesting.
Kind of lame. Then there was the weapon platform that you mentioned. That's fucking huge. Good luck that not being over £1,000. How much is this?
I'm trying to think, where would you display it for one thing as well? Because,
well, you know how you have children, Big D. You get rid of them. And this is what takes up that space. Because from the looks of things, this has to be lengthways. It has to be 2 foot long?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's the size of a table.
A big table, not like a desk, like a dining room table where you would sit and have dinner with the family.
Yeah, it's immense.
And it from the bottom of the base to the top of the little wing thing. I would say it has to be the size of a 2-year-old, right, or more.
Yeah.
It's huge.
That's
Who's this for? Who has the room for this? Well, I guess the person that can afford to buy it probably has the room for this.
More to the point, who loves Revenge of a Fallen Optimus Prime that much?
Maybe it does really well in China. I mean, the Transformers live-action movies did particularly well in China, so...
True.
I guess... I don't know.
I mean, it's nice that it comes on that display base.
Yeah.
That's kind of nifty.
I mean, it looks nice, I guess, for what it is.
Yeah.
But it is just a circle with guns on it. And you're meant to buy your own Optimus Prime to go with it because it doesn't come with one. So...
Which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, because what Prime is going to fit in there? Is it going to be another one that Way Studios has made? Because it's not going to be like the ones that we've just seen them do. The Bumblebee car, the Prime, and the Megatron. They look okay, but I don't think they look good enough to go with this.
I mean, they have a Bayburst Prime in the next slide.
Oh, it's this one. Yeah, it has to be this one to go with it. What the fuck is wrong with the guns it's holding?
Is it the fact he's actually holding the guns and they're not just transformed out of his arms?
I don't know. It's more like the gun barrels themselves look like tampons. They don't look like guns. Or they don't look like finished guns.
Hmm.
They look bizarre. Bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to buy this separately, and then it plops on, I guess, just in the center of the circle.
Maybe?
I guess. There's probably like a removable piece on the big base somewhere for the ring, and then you slot the Prime into that hole somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, I can't see it working any other way. Unless there's a different Prime figure we've not seen yet.
I doubt it. I think you were right. I think this is the figure that goes with it, to be honest. Has to be. Very bizarre. And then there's the battle between Megatron and Prime. I guess it's meant to be recreating the forest fight?
I think so.
I don't remember Prime ever fighting Megatron like this in the forest fight. I just remember Megatron penetrating Prime from behind in that fight, and that was about it. Do you remember when everybody said that was an amazing fight scene? Oh boy. Oh, people learned. People understood.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I like the base. There's also bits of arms, I guess, from Blackout. Not Blackout. It was whatever Blackout was called. Maybe it was Grindor. Maybe it was Blackout.
Yeah,
it was that.
Grindor and Starscream, I think, were ones you got their asses kicked.
Oh yeah. That's one of the one that has multiple fingers is the Starscream arm, right? And the one that has 3 fingers is the Blackout or Grindor arm, right? Yeah, so they're dotted around on the base.
It's another one that's absolutely massive, though. So it's just like, where are you going to display this thing?
Again, I think the people that can afford this have the room. That's the only thing I can think. Because this, again, is not going to be cheap.
No.
And then there is... this is Megatron kills an old man statue.
Oh, yeah.
I can't... They don't really show Sentinel Prime desperately well. Oh, no, he's crawling away.
Huh.
Well,
it's kind of ironic it wasn't Mace who did for Death Blow. So
no, it's Prime. Where are his legs? Sentinel Prime's, I mean. Yeah. Is it meant to be he's buried in the base?
Possibly.
I think it is.
Or that he's been bisected.
Which never happened in the... I asked because it never happened in the film, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, these are highly detailed, so they look nice, but
absolutely
very expensive. And then we've got the Pop Mark statues. The Pop Mark ones are more fun. They've got stupid Alan Wake, not Alan Wake. Batman, old Batman. Adam West cracks and kapowies on the base. That's kind of nice. I haven't seen that before. So that's kind of fun.
I will deduct points for the lack of punctuation on till all are one, because it should have a little comma ahead of floating above.
Oh, no, grammar Nazi. No. And then we got a Krzyk. I'm not sure. Why is he Krzykin?
No idea, but these are fun.
Yeah. Does the Prime need more paint? Because the painting on him is a bit weird. Like, he's got really big grey forearms. There's a shocking amount of grey actually on his torso, which is very unusual for a Prime. Even on the top of his boob, there's like no red. It's just grey.
Yeah, that did strike me that I felt that there should be a bit more grey. So like underneath, where you got that grey line underneath the cab.
Yeah.
There should be a bit of red underneath there. Not on the line, but just like above his... just to block out his abdomen a bit.
Yeah, like I would have thought, like, you know, the bit that is red on his ab, that should be gray, and then the sides of the abs should probably be red, right?
Yeah.
That would be normal. That's how a normal Prime would probably be done.
I mean, that bit does rather unfortunately look like he has a baboon's arse stuck to his stomach.
Yeah, it does.
But, I mean, a bit more red on his forearms, so not just on the backs, but on the insides of his forearms would be nice. I mean, I don't dislike anything about it other than the paint, to be honest.
I agree. Like, have you seen the legs? The blue just stops.
Ooh. Yeah, that's and the thing is, it extends down on the outside, but not the inside.
Yeah, it's the whole color on this figure is just weird. I don't know what they're we doing, but it looks weird. I guess they're making their own mark on an Optimus Prime, but it almost looks like they just got lazy and went, no more color.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because that's actually a nice take on Prime.
Yeah, it's interesting enough. It's different. It still looks like G1 Prime, but
absolutely. But it's they've given their own spin on it, which is all you can ask for sometimes. But it's just that lack of paint, that lack of color, or lack of consistent color, I should say.
Yeah, B doesn't suffer that. He comes with a Kirk roof, and an honor to the end, and he's mostly colored what I would expect. There's a bit more beigey gray on him instead of black, but at least he's like all yellow. Like where he's yellow, he's yellow. Where you would expect.
Yeah, I mean, it probably does help that B is predominantly yellow anyway.
Yes,
so that makes. I mean, I do like that beige as an accent color. That's unexpected, but I do kind of like it.
I think maybe there's a bit too much of it because, like, it doesn't work as well as black. Black and yellow they work well off each other. I think maybe a little bit of a retraction on the beige and a bit more black.
Yeah, and I do like that the black they've used is not a pure black either. It's more of a charcoaly black. There's a little hint of like a bluey, like a bluish grey-green undertone to it, which it makes it not as stark, but it also so you can actually see the detail on it, which with black can be a challenge sometimes.
It almost looks like he needs some weathering to him, you know, some browns and splotches here and there on the yellow just to break it up a bit.
Just giving him a wash all over could do wonders for that because there's a lot of lovely. I mean, it's not like there's not detail you can see anyway. It just needs that little bit extra, an extra step.
I think it's the color of yellow they've used. It's not like white where it just sucks out everything. It just sucks a little bit out of it. And like you say, the wash could help just bring out a little bit more.
Absolutely.
The RC I kind of think is pretty cool looking. It just looks like RC generally, but I like the eye goggles and the head design looks more like... Actually, the head design reminds me a little bit of Nicey because it's got that anime... You can tell it's got the anime face underneath. It's a very small mouth, and you can guess that the eyes are reasonably large as well. And unlike Prime, again, she has the right amount of color on her. And unlike B, the detail isn't absorbed as aggressively, I don't think.
Yeah, she might... I think she's probably the nicest looking of the three, to be honest.
Would you say she's... I was going to say, does she have the most boring pose? And I'm like, no, they're all reasonably dull posing-wise, I think. I think looks-wise, you're right, though. I think I prefer her the most. She doesn't have a sound effect, though.
No, but she has a nice energy swirl effect. Which
she does. You think that's how they make up for it?
Give her a big old energy cyclone effect.
Yeah, it's an interesting-looking RC, to be fair.
And honestly, I like all three of them in different ways. I just think Prime's probably the weakest in terms of deco.
Yeah.
B just needs a little, and then RC just seems to get it just about right.
Yeah, I think she just needs a better pose.
But I would like to see those in hand. In fact, I'd love to have one of those, to be fair. I might have to have a look and see what they're going for.
If they're statues, a lot, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because statues are never cheap, unfortunately. That's just how the cookie crumbles for them.
Good point.
Yeah.
Balls.
Sorry to pop that bubble, baby, but I saved you some money. Right, so that's all the Wonderfest covered. Now we can talk about the blocky blokey reveal of the Megatron. We saw, these are not, I thought these were colored versions of them. They're just colored renders of them. We did see the physical version, but we just kind of glanced over it. One of the things you can do with this Megatron is you can strip him of his clothing and see some internal workings. It's okay. I think it's just less of like to see his internal workings and just to show off his frame, the frame that you build all of the pieces on, which is okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a nice option to have it, you know?
Yeah. Again, I don't think these are nearly as complex as maybe some people who haven't built a model kit before have touted them as being, because I've heard some people say that they're reasonably complex. It's like, no, they're not. No, they're not.
No.
They're silly. They're very child friendly, and they're meant to be child friendly because that's the market. They're meant to be more so than the blockies, which are probably for like a 5-6-year-old, give or take. I'm thinking of the point where a child wouldn't eat a blocky and kill themselves. So that's probably 5 or 6, one would hope. And I think this would probably be more like the 10 to 12 kind of range, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Megatron's there. We've got the Super 7 Deluxe VHS Megatron. Me and you talked about the Soundwave and the Optimus Prime last time. They're doing the Megatron now. Another another VHS box, which isn't using the artwork from what I remember being the VHS.
Yeah.
And again, it looks like an incredibly limited articulated toy, as we said with the Soundwave and the Optimus Prime. Looks like, again, this is very basic in terms of what he can do. But also, Super 7 have decided to do something that might be a little bit more useful than the VHS stuff. It's the Super 7 Reaction The Arc playset, or at least renders for it. So this is a listing for the Reaction. Oh, so these are the Reaction figures, so they're tiny. Never mind. No, the Reaction figures are baby size. Never mind, I'll shut my mouth. So this is for the Reaction figures. This is a playset for them. Excuse me. That was apparently shown back in September. I don't remember that, but I'll take your word for it. But now we finally have... it was announced. It was reported in September. We have the images of the product, at least prototype images of the product. Looks like it's the Rocky base with a reversible cardboard back, which you can display the arc as seen in the cartoon or the G1 retro packaging art. It says it's 13.78 by 12 by 14.37 inches for all of you people who love your numbers. It also introduces the re-release Reaction Optimus Prime and Megatron, so if you missed out on them, you can get it with this. The set's going to make you suck its dick because it's going to be $75, which I think is way too much for what this effectively is. Super 7. They're not a customer-friendly company, that's for sure, in terms of the pricing. Apparently, it's going to be available to pre-order from Walmart Collector Con. Walmart Collector Con?
I mean...
What? I haven't heard of that before.
I mean, con is the right word, I think, for this.
True. Apparently, it's going to be on October the 17th from 7 a.m. PST. You got to be taking the pissing... shit.
Yeah.
Pissing shit. Yeah, PST, pissing shit taker. There you go. I'm very funny. So, Big D, what do you think of this play set? If you can call it a play set. I think that's very generous, to be fair.
I think if I was 8, I'd be ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. Well,
because when I think, I don't know about you, when I think play set, I think of Castle Grayskull. I think of like what was the mask base called?
Oh god, it was Mount something or other. It was
Mount Rocky, whatever, the gas station.
Yeah.
I think of that. I think of Mighty Max and all of its playset. When it says a playset, it's just a cardboard back and then a rock dressing that you could probably do yourself with styrofoam. I mean,
not being funny, that's probably vacuum formed.
Oh yeah.
I've cranked those out back in the day in my school.
Actually, I would say it probably isn't vacuum formed. To be fair,
that's true. Yeah.
Because it's Super 7, it might be vinyl. But that's a guess.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what you mean. This could be done with vacuum forming as well, 100%.
And be a lot cheaper and probably look a lot nicer.
Again, like I say, you could do this with styrofoam. The thick styrofoam, not the shitty styrofoam that you get for packaging. The stuff that I would want if I want to make some Warhammer scenery. If you want to make scenery, look online. There are lots of really interesting videos of people making scenery for Warhammer and miniature games and stuff like that. So you take those lessons and you just do it for this. And it'd be less than $75.
And honestly, the most egregious bit is that it's called the Ark playset, and the Ark isn't a playset. It's a bit of cardboard.
Well, technically, it's there, isn't it? You get Megatron and Prime. You know, they're small.
Yeah,
I can kind of see the logic to this. You get this little base for your display, and you plop on your reaction figures. Then you just lie them up.
It's just so unimaginative.
It's just it's lame. It's very lame. It's very lame. Like if the background was 3D in any sense.
If there was that at least. It was, but it's not.
No.
It's really not.
No, it's
And honestly, the actual battlefield they've picked does not have any real connection to what we see in the background.
But it's brown in the background, and they're standing on the brown. It's exactly the same.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Super 7's going to Super 7.
Maybe it will look better when it's a real thing and not a render. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It might. You know.
I mean, I certainly hope that they have a physical version of it before it goes up. But by the time it goes up for pre-order, I hope that listing has the physical version to show off, because anyone who orders this just off the renders needs to seek help.
I was going to say, that's, this, you spend your money how you like, but,
I know, but for something like this...
I know. Give me your money. I'll spend it better. I promise.
Yeah.
No, I don't promise I'll spend on like Marvel figures or something stupid, But they'll be better than this, I'd argue, and make me happy.
Yeah.
Then you want to make me happy? XLhead says Walmart CollectorCon is similar to PulseCon. Is it? Just an announcement of exclusives for their online store. That sounds fucking lame.
Yeah.
Lame.
It's weird.
Sounds like it fucking sucks. And like Hasbro, PulseCon has a real issue with their reveals on their show. Imagine Walmart's on that interesting. Like the idea that they show Campbell's soup, like a special version of it.
Well, I think don't Target do something similar?
Probably all these companies do something reasonably similar. I will say I do like the stupid box art where it's just a Megatron with massive kissable lips playing with an Optimus Prime and an Optimus Prime doing the same thing, and they're both looking at the camera. Like someone's pointing a gun at their head saying, "Have fun. You two play with a shitty thing and have fun."
I mean, that is kind of hilarious.
There you go.
I'll give them that.
I'm not sure that's intentional. Maybe it is. I don't know. It might not be.
It might not be what the art direction said, but the artists certainly had their own vision for how they were going to do it.
It turned out that way regardless.
Yeah.
So that was that. We have a weird thing that's popped up as well. The Walmart Retro G1 Gears and Bumblebee. I guess this is going to be talked about more at the Walmart Collectors Con. So what is this? This is bizarre. This is... You remember the Legacy Gears and the Studio Series? Oh, no, it's not even the Studio Series. It's the Netflix Bumblebee.
Yeah.
For some reason. What if we change the colors on them and put them in old school packaging?
And, well, it's not just that. Gears they've given a new head to.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, my apologies. They give him his
he has a toy head.
Yeah.
But they haven't done that to B.
No.
They haven't given him for Battle Mask.
Even though the artwork on the card that he's coming on is the toy head. So it's like, what?
I mean...
Okay.
All right, the fact is it's another chance to get the Netflix Beetle version of B. All right, that's
okay. It's not great,
that's welcome. It's not great, but it's nice that the opportunity's out there.
I'd say people should get the Studio Series Bumblebee because it's just a better figure. But if you specifically want this one for the Beetle mode, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it looks nice, but for what this line's supposed to be, the fact that they've not given him that alternate head, but they've done it for Gears,
it's
just weird.
Does this mean we're going to go through the rest of the mini bots that have been released, like Cosmos and Warpath, etc., etc.? Are we going to get all of them on the classic backing, and then maybe with the heads, their old school heads, maybe not?
I mean, most of them actually aren't too bad head-wise. I mean, Brawn's the most obvious outlier on that score.
Yeah, you couldn't really do anything with Warpath because it's just the only thing you can do with Warpath is make him thin.
Yeah, Warpath, Cosmos, Cliff Jumper.
Could you give Cosmos a really pencil thin head? Would that mess up the transformation at all? Because I don't have that mold, so I wouldn't know.
Neither do I, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I'm waiting for the reissue.
Just wait for this one that we're just making up right now. Just wait for that one.
Yeah,
I'll do you.
It's weird.
I don't know how they were sold on this line. Like, oh yeah, this is the line that we want from Hasbro. Well done.
I mean, wasn't this version of B a Walmart exclusive when it's part of the Netflix line as well? Which is why we couldn't buy it anywhere, because...
Maybe? It was an exclusive, but I don't remember how it was an exclusive.
Yeah, because I remember that's why we couldn't get Soundwave for so long.
That's right.
Because
until they reissued him for Legacy.
Yeah.
And made you pay a leader price point for him.
Yeah, that's supposed to be shipping soon, which is...
dear.
I'm still torn about do I cancel my pre-order or not. But
I would say don't get it, because they'll probably do a proper Soundwave at some point, I would think.
But I want Buzzsaw.
Do you want to pay a leader price point for a Buzzsaw?
I don't want to.
No one's got a gun to your head, I hope. So yeah, but this line, I don't really understand what this is meant to be. I think the packaging, as ever, will look nice. It's a retro card kind of deal. I can only assume they're doing the retro card thing because it's Hasbro, and Hasbro have done pretty well with the retro card Spider-Man figures, the retro carded Iron Man figures. They all look nice because the packaging back in the 90s and the 80s was really good, and these will look really good on the shelf, you know?
It does look like they have tweaked the color slide, because B seems a bit more saturated in terms of the black and the yellow than the previous version.
Yeah.
And Gears, they've tweaked that blue slightly, so it's got a little more pastel to it.
Yeah, he's baby blue now instead of like I don't know, dark blue.
Yeah, it's a bit more true to the G1 toy, which is, I mean, really, it's what this line's going for. So I do like that.
I mean, it's kind of what the line's going for. But then there's Bumblebee's head.
Yes, that just is so weird to me.
Yeah. Maybe it would have been better if we got more than 2 figures shown. Like if you showed like I don't know what the quote unquote wave would be, which has to be like 4 figures, right? If it's a wave.
Yeah, it feels weird that they can't just have these 2.
No, they'll probably show more of this collector's con, whatever it's meant to be.
Yeah.
XL Hedge says Netflix Bumblebee. I mean, if we get another Swerve. Oh yes, Swerve. Have we had Swerve?
Yeah. No, not yet. We haven't had Swerve or Outback yet.
Or Windcharger. I mean,
Windcharger,
molds.
Windcharger and Powerglide are the 2 that need entirely new sculpts.
Yeah, they haven't been touched at all yet. And are those the only 2 mini bots that haven't been done?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if they decided to make Hubcap. Is that the slight retool of Bumblebee? You know, the more squared up one with the orange face?
Yeah, because they did Bumper.
Yes.
Out of Cliff Jumper.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe they could do that. Maybe they could do Glyph, I guess.
I mean, I'd be surprised if they didn't at some point. I mean, if they did Bug Bite, for God's sake.
It's just weird, because you would have thought like some of those would have just been Hasbro exclusives, you know, and the weird 3-pack kind of things where you look at it and go, oh, there's one figure I want. Who knows? This thing, it's a weird thing. They've got descriptions of what these toys are, but it's just, It's gears. It's like
see now you've said it. That's actually not a bad way for them to do the alternate versions of the mini bots. Do it as a multi-pack. That actually makes a lot of sense.
You would have thought it would have been done by now, to be honest, but I guess maybe they're selling it off to Walmart for the exclusives, I guess.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Or maybe they're just waiting to get all the mini bots out in one go.
Thing as well.
So they have everyone. So then they can look at, because then they can do, once they have everyone, then you can do Tailgate, you can do Outback.
The other ones.
Swerve.
Whoever they are.
Yeah. I mean, you can get at least 3 plus hubcap.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe Glyph as well, whatever.
Let's say Glyph, yeah. So.
Yeah, strange line. It's coming. If you don't have Walmart, obviously here in the UK, well, I guess we can go as usual and fuck ourselves because we won't be able to buy it unless we get it from import sites. That's generally how it works. I'd argue that they should just put the exclusives that they can't sell here on Hasbro Pulse UK, but that doesn't seem to happen for whatever probably a legal reason.
I mean, it happens sometimes, but it's really there's no consistency.
That's the issue. Is Hasbro is really inconsistent. So who knows? Axel Hedge says, did the Cliff Jumper / Bumblebee mold even get a G1 head? Because I'm pretty sure they only made heads for 2 of those repaints. I think what we're saying is they maybe should have made a G1 head for this thing.
Yeah.
Just because they made specifically a G1 head for the gears. You know? If that's what you meant.
And given the intent of what they're going for.
Yeah, we'd have a better idea of what they're trying to do rather than, it's the toys. Is it, though? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Unless when they did Gears, they did the alternate face as a pre-tool, so it was already on the tool or ahead of time.
I'd be shocked if that wasn't the thing. But they have done another head. They've done like 3 heads for Gears, right? Because they did the GoBot version, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So this is the 3rd head for Gears mold. I don't know. It's weird. So next up, we're talking about weird shit. The Transformers crossover whoring itself out, but the prop tease is continuing. We're doing one of the hot new animes of the season, the one that all the kids are big fans of. It's a Naruto crossover with Transformers. They're doing the Kurami and the Gamakachi. I recognize these things. It's the 9-tailed fox and the toad thing, which is Toad Sage. It's got a little ninja scroll in its mouth as well. It can hold a little knife. So we got a little, I was going to say sexy video, but I'm not going to lie to you. It's a video. It shows you the accessories. Comes with a Rasengan, if I remember, some little explosion key things for its feet, some kunai. I don't recognize. I think this is a unique mold. It kind of looks a little bit like.
Someone said it might be based on Cheetor.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. Oh, good call. Whoever did that and reminded you, and you reminded them. Yes, it is. Yeah. I recognize how the arms work, and the arms of the 9-tailed fox kind of swing back. Does anyone know what the toad's based off of, if anything?
I think the toad might. Oh wait, no. The toad looks like it. There might be. No, I was going to say some of the engineering might be Rat Trap, but no, because the way the arms work is different. Unless that's a new upper torso they've done. Maybe. But I mean, it's not outside of possibly that could be an original figure in its own right.
Yeah, because it's a small figure. Yeah. It's not too crazy.
Yeah, and I know a few people have looked at it and gone, "Oh, could we get a Spittle repaint at some point, please?"
Yeah, because you could do 5 of them. You could do a 5-pack of Spittle in different colors, and that would make me happy. It's
bonkers, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. I think the animal modes are really neat. I think they've been serviced well.
I mean, I get what they're going for with the robot modes, especially for Kurama.
Yeah,
basically making it Naruto and trying to do his tracksuit look, which I get. It's just the proportions are weird.
Yeah, but you've got a lot of shit hanging off of him. There's a lot of just gubbins everywhere. And granted, this is the Cheetor transformation mold and whatnot. And that had a decent amount of gubbins just kind of coming off of it as well. But this is like, it's got 9 tails hanging off of its ass. It's got giant ears coming out the tops of its head. It's got really big claws on the back of its elbows as well. No, not on the back of its elbows, coming below its shoulders. It's just very messy. I would imagine our friend Orange is going to like it because it's orange. If he doesn't, I'll call him out on it. I think the head mold's reasonably good for the robot mold.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they've got his hands posed doing the old 2-finger jutsu pose. That's kind of nifty. The energy effects are a nice touch, and it's nice to get as many accessories as this comes with.
Yeah.
Which is not always a given.
I think we're assuming this is deluxe size with a core class a core class figure as well, right?
I mean, could that be a retool of Tigatron instead? So Voyager class?
I don't think so. I think because he's got.
Looks...
My Tigatron's in a box on the other side of the room, and I'm pretty sure it's different. It's got too many mushroom pegs, I think.
I'm just looking at my TV because my Beast Wars display is right in front of it. Not below it, in front of my TV, folks, because that's how much shit I have all over my room.
Oh, no.
I'm just looking at Cheetor and Rat Trap.
Yeah.
And proportion-wise, that Legend figure looks to be... Gamakichi does seem to be the same size as Rat Trap.
I would imagine so.
So if that tracks, then that is definitely the cheat. And if that is, that's deluxe class for Kurama. So,
which is probably why it looks as cluttered as it does, because you know, at that size class, with the amount of shit he's come with the amount of retooling he's had, they just couldn't really do, I guess, too much with it. So it's it's interesting.
It's fun.
Yeah. I love the Toad. The Toad's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
If I could just get the Toad on its own, I'd probably do that, to be honest.
Yeah. Naruto is, although has Boruto ended yet, or is that still going on?
The anime's still going, I think. I'm not sure if the manga's still going. I just hear Boruto's bad. That's all I hear when people talk about Boruto, so...
Yeah. But, you know, it's like a 20-plus year franchise now.
It's horrifying to hear that, but yes.
Isn't it just? It kind of does make sense for them to do this sort of crossover, and points for them to actually trying to be, you know, going for Beast route.
Yeah.
And they've at least tried. They might not have succeeded 100%, but it looks fun.
Again, I think in the animal form for the QB, the Ninetales Fox, I think that is probably how you should display it.
Yeah. But it's the strongest one.
Yeah, the robot mode is definitely where it kind of falls flat. Yeah, if you look at the little sticker on the box is actually quite cute as well. But the box says 20 for Naruto, 25 for Transformers. So I guess maybe 20 and 20, because I think, is Dragon Ball older than that?
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball's like
30s,
80s. Right? Yeah, Dragon Ball's over 40 by this point.
Yeah, no, Transformers is older than 25. Oh, I think that must be the year it's coming out.
2025.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just stupid. Leave me alone. I haven't had much sleep recently. I'm dying. Help me. The box is nice. It's a weird thing. How do you think it compares to the other crossovers? What was the last crossover?
Last one we saw was the Beast Hunter, Monster Hunter one.
Oh yeah. How do you think it compares to that?
So so far we've seen the Zoids, the Monster Hunter, and this one.
Yeah, the Zoids one was the best, I think.
Yeah, and we don't talk about the Godzilla ones.
No, because that's just fucking lazy. So between this one and the Monster Hunter one, which do you like? I'm not going to say which is better, because it's. I
like the Monster Hunter one more, but I think that is probably because it stands on its own more.
Yeah, I think it might look a little less messy in both modes as well.
The thing is, I'm not a Monster Hunter fan anyway. I've never played the games. Naruto, I've watched some of the original anime and I've read a bit of the manga, so I know kind of the place the character has.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate what both attempts have done, but I like the Monster Hunter one more. I think it's more coherent.
Yes.
And it stands on its own more.
Yeah, my only issue with the Monster Hunter one was I wish it wasn't Optimus Prime. And
That's fair.
And that was about it. I have more issues with how this one looks.
Yeah, this one gets points for one. They've tried to make it its own character.
Yeah.
So it's not just they've not called it just Naruto in a robot form.
Yeah, it's not Bumblebee. It's not Bumblebee, Nine-Tailed Fox or something.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Which either of those would have been very easy to do.
Yeah.
They've taken another route, and I'm not. If you're a Transformers fan and a Naruto fan, I think this might. You'll probably. I couldn't say for certain, but I think you'll like this.
You might appreciate it more depending how much you like it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. Equally, you could. I'm sure there'll be people who really dislike it. I'm with you. I think it is just too busy.
Yeah.
They perhaps have tried too much, but it's a valiant failure.
Yeah.
So,
well, what do you think of the feet effect part? I think I know what they're trying to do. The thing where he puts his chakra into his feet and he can walk on the water.
Yeah.
It looks to me like, do you know the bin bags that you put on your feet when you go into like a new home?
Unfortunately, yes.
It reminds me of that.
Like crime scene booties.
Yes, it reminds me of that. Unfortunately,
I think some of that will depend on how you display them, because the picture on the back of the box sells the whole thing a lot better than how they've got imposed in the promo shots, to be honest.
Yeah, it hides a little bit more of the kibble as well.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think the kibble's been just assembled slightly better on that, because
probably, yeah.
I know that the arms on the back of that figure are always a bit of a pain to get right.
Oh yeah,
going right back to B, so to Cheetor rather. But I mean, it's not going to be a cheap set because none of these are. No, sadly,
it's probably like a £50 set, maybe.
Probably, which honestly, for a deluxe and a core class, isn't. It's not as outrageous as it could be.
I mean, it might be. Who knows how much it'll be? I'm just guessing.
Quite, yeah. I mean, if it was around that, then that's not as bad as possible, but there's a good chance it'll probably be more than that.
Maybe.
To be fair, because
it's a crossover. It's a lot of the money, I imagine, goes towards licensing fees. Probably.
But I mean, I like the packaging. The packaging's cute.
Yeah, it's cute. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's interesting. There you go. It's coming. I do not endorse more shonen anime. You know, we don't need a Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Yu Yu Hakusho, etc., Demon Slayer, all that shit. We don't need a Transformer for each of those.
I don't know. I'd love to see them do a Transformers times Bleach crossover.
Oh God, Bleach! Jesus Christ!
Just because that could be utterly bug nuts insane.
You know, I thought you were going to make a really obscure Shonen Jump reference to an anime that I hadn't heard of, because it's like from the 80s. A little disappointed. Okay, TFCon Baltimore. We've got a fuck ton? Yeah, happily to say a fuck ton of guests. We've got Mark Watts, who's an artist on the G1 packaging coming. We have Travis Arts. Arts is in art and then Z at the end because he's from the 90s, I'm assuming. He was Hot Rod. I'm sorry, I've never met the man. It's just I saw the name and I judged him for it. He was Hot Rod in as I drown in my own saliva. Hot Rod in Cyberverse. We also have Michael Charles Hill, who was a writer on the Transformers G1 cartoon. He wrote The Gambler, Starscream's Brigade, The Killing Jar, Ghost in the Machine, The Burden Hardest to Bear, and The Return of Optimus Prime Part 2. So he wrote some pretty good episodes.
Yeah, that's some pretty decent material, to be honest.
From the episodes listed there, now granted they might just be picking his best ones, those are all good episodes from G1.
Hell yeah, yeah.
If they said... what's the really bad episode in season 3 where they've got the singing people with the terrible animation? Balsal Profundo and Allegra. Allegra! That episode. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but at least it's not that writer. Sorry, dude, whoever did that one. That was a terrible episode. And the animation was super bad. And then we've also got Doug Parker, who was a voice of Pterosaur, and apparently Tidal Wave. I didn't know that. Didn't know Pterosaur with Tidal Wave's voice. Granted, he just said Tidal Wave, but regardless, they're going to be Baltimore, November the 1st to the 3rd.
That's cool.
Yeah, if you're going, go and say hi. You don't need to tell them to listen to Moonbase 2 because I'd probably be very confused and ask why you tell me to listen to Transformers podcast from the UK. I don't know. But that's all the news, baby. That's all the news. So, Big D, what you been up to recently? What you done for fun? You got anything cool?
I've been cracking on with my GW stuff. Had some bits come through the last few days.
Oh.
Got the new Kill Team starter set and a spare set of the Tempestus Aquilons. Got those all built up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and picked up a special edition Dwarf Hero I've been after for a while. Got him built last night. And I've been digging through some of my backlog of oddities from the year. So I've got a few Inquisitorial dudes to stick to base in the near future.
Oh.
Otherwise,
are you going to make Inquisitor D out of one of your minis?
Ooh, that's tempting. I mean,
you could even use one of the Inquisition models, right, from that the bigger models, and make an Inquisitor of yourself for that game. That'd be fun.
I mean, you know what's really distressing? I did do a heavily kit bash Inquisitor back in the day, but I still have all painted up and everything. And I've realised as time goes on, I'm starting to resemble him more and more.
Oh, so you made yourself, and now you're evolving into him.
Yeah, not intentionally. But...
oh no.
I mean, I could try and do a figure based on this lovely piece of artwork Gruff did for me.
Oh, that'd be neat, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure I have a spare head with a Stetson around. Just need to give it more of a beard. Lots of shoulder pad game as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
you saw Transformers 1?
I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone gets a chance to, please go and see it. The box office for it has been cranking up over the last few weeks since it opened internationally, which is
better
nice.
Than Joker 2, so I mean that's not saying anything, but
no, I mean as of tonight, last I saw, because TF Hype Guy, who's been doing amazing work spreading the word on this film to non-Transformers fans, he noted it's been reported that as of Friday, it had made 100 million globally. On a budget of 75 million. It took another 5 million over the weekend.
Yeah.
As of end of business today, that's not bad. And I fully intend to go and see it one more time myself, at least this week, if I can, if possible. So, and I do want to see it again because I think it will reward rewatching just to spot all the stuff you missed first time in the visual side of things, because it is rammed with Easter eggs for Transformers fans. Absolutely so. Oddly, for a film that really is aimed more at the younger market, it has a sequence right at the end of the credits.
Oh, okay.
Because I know that's not an uncommon thing in films as a rule nowadays, but for a film that's basically a kid's film in essence, and this is effectively. I mean, the storytelling is more involved than a lot of what people consider kiddie fare, but it's also a toy franchise, so there's that element to it. But it's very odd to see it have that sort of sequence at the very end of the credits, because it's not a short credit sequence either. But no, it was good. The humor landed just where it needed to. The voice performances, I was actually really impressed by across the board. I've heard people say that they didn't like Brian Tyree Henry as D16 and Megatron. But his evolution of the character across the film is wonderful. How he gets Megatron from where he's at the start. And Hemsworth, he does a good Optimus Prime. There's a clear progression of his character from Pax to Mega to Prime, which I really dug as well. So I'm hoping it does well enough to warrant a sequel, because I know that The Wild Robots had a sequel greenlit already.
Oh, really?
Came out
okay.
Yeah, it came out at the same time, has done a lot better box office wise than even Joker did.
Again, not saying much.
No. But again, both of these films had smaller budgets than Joker, too. Which is kind of a staggering given how good they both look. Animated films looking this good, that look better than, what, $150 million? Well, you can't call it a comic book because they've apparently been saying it's not actually based on the comics character.
No, I mean, it's a mess. That movie is more expensive than it had any right to be. It felt like the director demanded more money, and so did Jacques Phoenix, whatever his name is, and that's where the budget went. It's a clusterfuck.
I know. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed TF1. Please, if you get a chance, go and see it, everyone.
Cool.
And if you can't, I gather it's coming to streaming some point in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Which, that's a conversation for another day, because that bugs the hell out of me. But on the upside, it does mean folks like yourself, Andy, who can't get out to see it, will have a legal way to watch it.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, well, there are other options available to you, because we're all gentle folks of the world.
Yeah.
Cruising the seas of the internet.
Yeah.
Arr.
Yo-ho.
But otherwise, I've done a few more recordings with Gruff for what we're now calling the Fluff and Hammer Deep Dives. We've repurposed some minisodes, so now we're looking at doing, to make things a bit easier planning wise, we're digging into stuff from the Fluff and Hammer website, exploring that a bit in depth, which is fun. And hopefully this week I should have at least 2 episodes of Fluff and Busters on the go.
Oh, nice.
One on Tuesday night, which we're still waiting to confirm things. But myself and Mr. White will be coming together next Saturday.
Like physically?
I like him, but not that much, unfortunately. Although it could be fun to record one of these in person, so it's both in the same room at some point. But no, I think the plan at the moment is we're going to be tackling the Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh. Hang on. The Peter Jackson movie, not the Ralph Bakshi, right?
Peter Jackson, yeah.
Okay, I had to check because if you're like, it's the animated movie, really. Never mind. Never mind.
No, we're gonna do the Peter Jackson movie. I think we're thinking we'll probably split it into 2 parts, not so much for recording, but just the release.
You're expecting it to be a long one?
Oh yeah, I need to speak to Adam and see if he wants to do the theatrical or extended cut. I know my preference.
The extended. There's no such thing as the theatrical cut. It doesn't exist. It's like, what version of it? You want the real, like, the theatrical cut exists because it had to come out into a cinema. The extended version is the true version of the movie, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I have watched the extended cut at the cinema, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
I wish I have no problem sitting for a 3-hour plus movie because I'm just like that.
It's
I'm not
good.
right.
If it doesn't matter if it's a 3-hour movie, if it's good and entertaining.
Yeah,
the problem is like when it's a 3-hour movie and it's fucking boring. That's when the issues start coming up.
This is very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my plan for the next week or so. Otherwise, I've not had any new Transformers yet, unfortunately.
Boo this man.
Well, it's been a bit of a...
To be fair, new Transformers are really out for the most part.
When I was on last, did I say I had Ruckus and Bludgeon come through?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Ruckus is weird because I think I prefer Bludgeon because Ruckus has this weird thing where the backpack from the remolded beach buggy just gets in the way of the arms. You can't actually get them back. It blocks moving them backwards.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So they're always stuck quite forward.
Yeah.
Which is odd. It's not a deal breaker. It's just weird. He looks great otherwise, though. But Bludgeon just feels more. He feels nicer in hand to me.
Better QC.
Yeah, and it's nice to have that particular version of Bludgeon, because I have Pretender Shell Bludgeon. To have the IDW Robot Bludgeon is kind of nice. So, but yeah, that's me.
Cool.
You been up to much?
What have I been up to? I decided to go in on the Amazon Prime thing. I got the She-Hulk Marvel Legends figure, an Iron Man armor. I don't know what kind of Iron Man armor it is, but it looked neat, so I picked that up because it was on a sale. It's got written on the box, Iron Man armors all look the bloody same to me for the most part.
Yeah.
I got Babylon 5 on Blu-ray. It's not as a significant Blu-ray update as say Next Gen was. But it is nicer looking than the DVDs, because the DVDs are kind of rough to look at. I know.
Yeah, I know the Blu-ray was an issue for a while purely because of how B5 was shot.
Yes.
Because the show itself was shot on film, so that wasn't the issue. It was always for CGI effects.
Yeah.
And also how it was then formatted for TV.
Yeah, they've kept it 4:3. The DVD weren't 4:3, but I can't remember if the DVDs were just zoomed in or not. They might have just been zoomed in.
I think they might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
But I follow JMS on Twitter, and he's always been quite open about these things and discussing how things go and whatnot, and what issues have prevented B5 getting a proper HD update like TNG did.
It's also money. It's really fucking expensive.
Well, yeah, because the problem with B5 is that it would, because of how they did the effects as well.
Yeah.
Because they were groundbreaking for the time, but they do show their age now because they were some of the first CGI special effects on a serialized TV show that was using all CGI. They would have to basically try and get all the effects work redone. And Warner Brothers, funny thing, Warners are quite tight.
Yeah, because they keep making terrible financial decisions for some reason.
It seems it's almost like the guy who bought the company out is an idiot. Allegedly.
Well, I mean, if you look at the mistakes he keeps making, there's no real shock. But I do, even though that it's not the biggest update, they do look nicer than the DVDs. So it's like, all right.
I do want to get that set at some point because
it was only 40 quid during the sale as well.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, instead of 60, I was like, yeah, all right, fine, fuck it.
Yeah,
40 quid, whatever.
Yeah, and B5 is one of those shows where the storytelling carries an awful lot, especially in the later seasons.
Yeah, like season 1 is pretty bad. Season 2 is kind of boring, but it's got some really good episodes. Season 3 is when it gets really good.
Yeah, and you can't really skip season 1 or 2 either because
you can skip a lot of season 1.
You can, but there are moments in the show. Any episode that has Jakar and Londo in, you can even if the rest of the episode's shit, you can watch just for their performances.
I would only say that's true if they're the A plot. If they're the B plot, the B plot usually for them is, especially in season 1 and 2, isn't that good. Like Londo only gets really interesting when he's not in the purple suit, and that's season 1.
Yeah,
again, season 2 is like when he gets his. No, I think it's the end of season 1. He sets up his relationship with Mr. Morden.
Yeah,
right at the end.
Yeah, and then season 2, he goes into a black jacket about midway through.
Yeah, something like that.
On pretty much right through to midway through season 4.
If I was to be critical, I'd say there's probably, out of season 1, there's maybe like 3 to 4 episodes that are worth watching. I reckon there's probably 7 to 8 maybe episodes in season 2, and then just watch all of season 3.
Yeah.
That's how I take it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading a rewatch of B5 on Tool Reactor, their website, and because the guy doing it, he's worked through all of Star Trek before this and moved on to B5 now.
Yeah,
and he's gone into B5 and he's not been uncritical. He's looked at it bluntly. Season 1, there are episodes which have guest stars. You just thinking, wow, that's a big name guest star for this period, and he doesn't pull any punches.
Mm-hmm.
If the episode's not good, he's pointed it out quite happily.
Oh yeah.
So it has been quite fun reading that and seeing that perspective on things nowadays. But I do take your point. See, the thing is, B5 season 1 is the sort of thing you just don't get anymore. It's the example of a show that needs a season and a bit to find its legs.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what Next Gen was. Next Gen season 1's rough to watch.
I mean, Next Gen kind of took 2.5 seasons.
Yeah,
it got better as it went on. It was only season 3 where it was really firing all cylinders all the time.
Next Gen and B5 are very similar in that fact. Season 1 are pretty rough to watch. Season 2, there are a few good episodes, but it's still mainly blech. And then season 3, you're like, okay, now we're in. Now we're okay, generally speaking.
But there's a lot of shows which do that as well, where they
They don't do that now because they only get 3 seasons.
Well, some of them don't even get 1. They just get they don't even get 10 episodes.
I don't know how true this is, but I hear Warner Brothers' best financial move this year was cancelling the Batgirl series, or the Batwoman series, whichever one it was. You know, the show that never came out?
Oh, the Batgirl movie.
Yeah, that's it. That was the thing that they've made money back on because they cancelled it. Everything else have lost money, which is hilarious.
That and Coyote versus Acme. Which, bear in mind, those are 2 films that, when they did test performances, did really well.
I guarantee you that Batwoman movie or Girl movie would have shit the bed. I reckon from what we saw of the small amount of footage we saw from it, it looked like another Madam Web, or because it would have been before Madam Web came out. It looked like another one, or a future Kraven the Hunter, because that's not out yet. That's coming out this Christmas, right?
Yeah, that's still boggles my mind. That's coming out still.
Sony's running competition. They're like, oh, you want to shit the bed? Oh, we can shit the bed. I can leave a big old log in my trousers if you like. Okay.
I think so. It's kind of sad that they released The Flash, but not instead of Batgirl. And Flash was terrible and cost a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. I think it's probably like they already. I think they probably got through more of it already before they would like. Well, it's too late to cancel it. We may as well just put it out.
Batgirl was in the can. It was ready to go.
I didn't think it was finished though.
Yeah,
was it
completely? Okay. Yeah, the directors had finished with it. It was all done.
Was it the Flash came out and they saw how bad it done, and then when Batgirl has to be canned?
No, they canned Batgirl before the Flash.
Oh, then Batgirl must have been really bad then, if they let the Flash get through.
Which is bonkers. The Flash has a lead actor who, at the time, was facing criminal charges for kidnapping. They've been a social publicity liability, and you just think,
funny times.
Yeah.
Oh, Hollywood.
Fun,
rascal.
Yeah.
What else have I done? What else have I done?
Did you get anything else off Prime?
No. I got a weighted blanket because I hadn't had one, and I thought it was like again half price. I was like, I'll give it a try. It's pretty nice. Took a bit of time to get used to it because it is like 6.5 kilograms spread out over the entire blanket, so it's reasonably heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird, like sleeping in bed and just being like, it feels like I'm almost being squished by something, but it's quite nice.
Huh.
Yeah. And I got Ranking of Kings season 1 part 2, so I now have the full season of that, and that was a really good anime. That was fantastic anime.
Cool.
The follow-on season, which isn't season 2, it's like a sub-season, is crap. Ignore that.
Okay.
First season's really good. Is anything else? Work started back up again, a little bit harder than it was previously, so that's been eating up most of my week. And I've finally started playing Unicorn Overlord, which is from Vanillaware, same people that did Dragon's Crown. So it's got a really nice, interesting, unique art style. It's a really fun game. Story is very basic story. Save the kingdom from the evil that's kind of conquered the land. It is a real-time Fire Emblem game, is how I would describe it.
Oh, nice.
So you know how Fire Emblem, it's turn-based in the movie. Imagine that, but it's like real-time. So you build up your team, they have relations with each other, and you just send them around the map. It's like, it's good. It's really pretty too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Pretty sure that's it. So where can people find you on the internet, Big D, if you want them to find you or be found?
Oh, if you must look for me, you can look for David, spelt for Welsh way, so it has far too many D's and far too many W's for a name that's basically David. I'll either have this picture or my favourite cranky old Autobot cup as my profile. I'm on all the social medias that way. If you want to give me a ping and say hi, feel free. I moderate the Fluff and Hammer Discord along with Darren, the Statler to my Waldorf. Always popping into Fluff and Hammer recordings to offer us pithy commentary, if no one else is willing to. I also host Fluff and Busters, a film rewatch commentary show with Adam White, which we do periodically. And I'm also, I've not really thought about doing it this way before. I've also been hosting a series of what we're now calling Fluff and Hammer Community Radio.
Woo!
Where if anyone from the Fluff and Hammer wants to have a natter for an hour or two, or most likely free, I'm game. If you got a subject you want to talk about, hit me up and I'm happy to chat about it for a bit. So that's been quite good fun. And yeah, that's kind of me, really.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decade Andy. You can find us on the Moonbase 2 forums. Again, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. We're on ccbunker.weebly.com. We're on Libsyn. We're on iTunes. And the Moonbase 2 forum as well. You want to hang out with us and talk like these people who've joined the chat tonight. We are on YouTube and Twitch. It's usually 8 o'clock in the evening UK time on a Sunday, but that might change to 8:30 or 9:30, depending on how work goes at the moment. It's a bit up in the air, so I'll keep you updated. Basically, it'll be between 8 and 9, effectively, is what the aim will be. So, yeah. Until next week, everybody. Thanks for coming on by, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Thank you again.